All right, greetings and salutations, everyone. My name is Ange Kirchhoff, and welcome to our Saturday live stream for Week 6 of the 2022 fantasy football season. Of course, for the next 2 hours here on the channel, let me go ahead and get myself comfortable. We're going to be talking all things fantasy football. I'll, of course, be mentioning some injuries that have obviously gathered some, at least momentum over the last couple of days and are obviously going to play a pretty big factor in the grand scheme of our fantasy football season. I just want to go ahead and first and foremost, we got to adjust the chat on the right side of the screen here. Here we go. There it is. Perfect. Let's go ahead and make this a little bit shorter up top. Boom. Perfect. All right. So if you guys have not yet already, of course, click the like button down below. Greatly appreciate that. Over the course of the next 2 hours, I'll be answering questions that are in the chat. I appreciate those of you who have already joined us this morning or this afternoon. Let's get into it, okay? We're not slowing down anytime soon. We're just immediately getting into today's information. So first and foremost, before I want to, start answering questions, I do want to go ahead and remind you that tomorrow morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on the channel, I will be live streaming. During said live stream, I will have updated rankings on screen for running backs, wide receivers at the top 36, along with top 16 quarterbacks and tight ends. So if you guys are interested, tomorrow morning, you'll get the best overall, indication as to where I would go regarding my overall pick. In regards to potential players within the position. I'll also be mentioning top 12 defenses and kickers tomorrow morning for those of you who are interested in joining us. Kick off with Kirchhoff, 2 hours long. Outside of that, of course, if you guys haven't checked out PrizePicks, be sure to do so today. Again, if you want to play daily fantasy and get more action within the NFL week, of course, this is the best way to do it. So if you go ahead and sign up using promo code ANGE today and you make a first-time deposit, you'll be given a first-time deposit match up to $100. So if you deposit 20, you'll be given 20. You deposit 100, you'll be given 100. For those of you interested, take advantage of it. Again, we're going to be going over some picks for later today. But as of right now, let's go ahead and I'm going to just bring the chat down real quick. I want to just go over injuries first and foremost, okay? Because I spent a little bit of time this morning gathering information regarding injuries that I want to go over with everyone, okay? So let's go over this first and foremost. In regards to injuries across the league, there are some major ones as of this morning. So let's go from top to bottom, from just alphabetical order in terms of team names. So nothing with the Arizona Cardinals. I actually, in fact, looked at the Arizona Cardinals injury report, and they didn't have a single player on it. So that is kind of weird considering James Conner is probably not going to play and neither is Darrell Williams. They just haven't updated their website, I'm assuming. Either way, Atlanta Falcons, Kyle Pitts questionable. Outside of that, everybody else who is supposed to play is going to. Baltimore Ravens, there's no Rashad Bateman. There's no Ben Cleveland. As for the Carolina Panthers, their number one cornerback, J.C. Horn, is out. That does technically bode well for Cooper Kupp and or Allen Robinson, but ultimately, we know Allen Robinson's not getting enough targets to matter anyway, so it's just better for Cooper Kupp. As for the Cincinnati Bengals, T. Higgins is questionable. He did not practice Wednesday or Thursday. He had a limited session on Friday. I mean, are we ready to get hurt again? That's my biggest concern. I do not want to hurt another one of my fantasy weeks because I'm starting this guy, and he's going to be inactive after the first quarter. So you'll see by the adjusted rankings that we have tomorrow that he's going to be relatively low. He's going to be out of sight, out of mind almost to an extent because I don't know if it's worth playing him. Now, it may be worth playing him because Marshawn Lattimore for the New Orleans Saints, he's out. And that bodes really well for the receiving core of the Cincinnati Bengals, especially Jamar Chase. So this could be a Jamar Chase week here. Anyway, moving on. Cleveland Browns. Denzel Ward, their top cornerback, is out. That does help wide receivers for the New England Patriots. Of course, Deion Jones, who was traded from the Atlanta Falcons to play middle linebacker for the Cleveland Browns. He's not going to be active this week, even though he is kind of getting prepared and just learning the defense as a whole. Dallas Cowboys. Michael Gallup is out this week. That is very interesting. Of course, CeeDee Lamb had a late injury pop up to the list. I think this just helps CeeDee Lamb get more and more targets. I mean, last week, he had 50% of the targets go in his direction. He had 50% of the receptions within this offense. He's going to be the entire offense, in terms of the receiving group. Melvin Gordon is limited. That is the biggest concern for me. Melvin Gordon's dealing with a rib injury and a neck injury. The combination of both, again, it is tough. He's probably not going to have the entire backfield to himself. I would not be surprised if we saw all three, Gordon, Boone, and Latavius Murray, get some sort of usage out of this backfield. Obviously, Melvin Gordon still leading the way. Christian Watson is out for the Green Bay Packers. Indianapolis Colts, Jonathan Taylor is out, along with Nyheim Hines. They have two defenders also out, Shaq Leonard and Kwity Paye. Again, a lot of these Indianapolis Colts are hurt. In my opinion, this only helps Alec Pierce and Deion Jackson. Those are the two guys that I think are going to benefit the most this upcoming week against the Jacksonville Jaguars matchup, which is the number 2 wide receiver, Alec Pierce, and the fill-in running back, which is Deion Jackson, who last week, if I'm not mistaken, in a half PPR scored 11.1 fantasy points. Had himself a pretty good amount of utilization on the ground through the air. It is a pretty promising pickup and play for those of you who need to immediately fill in for Jonathan Taylor. Moving on, Jacksonville. We're almost done here. Marvin Jones is out. Zay Jones is questionable, could potentially miss this upcoming week. Rashad Fenton, one of the starting cornerbacks for the Kansas City Chiefs, he is out. Keenan Allen is going to be out this week. Cam Akers, like we talked about yesterday, is out this week. Teddy Bridgewater is going to be the backup quarterback this week. Yes, he is cleared concussion protocol, but they are going with the other guy, the 7th round rookie quarterback. He is going to be given the starting position. They feel comfortable with that. Raheem Mostert, his knee allows him to be questionable as of right now. Terron Armstead did not practice all week long. That's their starting left tackle. He is also questionable with a toe injury. Nelson Aguilar is out. Michael Thomas is out. Marshawn Lattimore is out. Jarvis Landry is out. Deontay Hardy is out. So that's 3 wide receivers for the Saints that are out. Chris Olave jumping up our boards. Taysom Hill jumping up our boards as we continue throughout the week. As we talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers defense, Cameron Sutton, Akella Weatherspoon, Levi Wallace, Minkah Fitzpatrick, 4 of the starting secondary members of the Pittsburgh Steelers are all out. That bodes well for, of course, the thumbnail for today's video. Chris Godwin, Mike Evans, Russell Gage, Cameron Brate, whoever the heck wants to catch the ball against that secondary. Pat Freiermuth also out for that offense. Trent Williams had a full practice on Friday. Hopefully, with Trent Williams back, we'll see less blocking from George Kittle, but you never know. And to close us out today, Julio Jones is doubtful to play. Logan Ryan is still out. Akeem Hicks is still out for them. And that pretty much covers it. Okay. Now that we've kind of gone through that entire list, hopefully, if you had any questions regarding those, we can now address them now that we've gotten here, okay? A couple donations were sent in, so I'm going to go ahead and address those first and foremost. So let's get into this really quickly. Let's close this. Boom, bang, bomb, bang. Okay, cool. So Gabriella sent in a question, said, flex spot this week. Am I rolling with Njoku or Eno Benjamin? I would probably roll with Eno Benjamin there in a full PPR scoring format. Thank you. Silver Soul Jones says PPR 2 running backs, 2 flex. I have Pittman, Walker, Hall, Henderson, Ramondre, Hunt. Okay, so of the available players that you have, the 2 running backs that I'm starting for you this week is probably the suggestion of Ramondre Stevenson along with Breece Hall. So those are your RB1 and 2. As for the flex position, I'm very much so of the opinion that I probably want to play Darrell Henderson there against Carolina, and I probably want to play Michael Pittman there against Jacksonville. Sitting Kenneth Walker is a little bit, it hurts to do it, especially considering they have a pretty good matchup this week, but I'm pretty comfortable with the other options you have. So it would be Hall, Henderson, Ramondre, and Pittman this week. Flipside Fishing says 14-team league, full PPR. We have Chase, Duvernay, Alec Pierce, Isaiah McKenzie, Gallup. Which 3 should I start? Again, like I mentioned, Gallup is gone. So of the 4 available options you have, you're playing Jamar Chase. I would also follow up by saying we're probably in the position of playing Devin Duvernay. And then it becomes a conversation as to whether or not we're going Isaiah McKenzie or Alec Pierce. Man, I think there's so much upside in that Bills game that I kind of want to go in the direction of Isaiah McKenzie. That's probably what I would do, and I would just bench Alec Pierce. I think he's a fantastic play. He could very easily come away with a bunch of catches this week. I think these other guys have that touchdown upside that Alec Pierce may not be able to garner within a given week. Let's see here. I think Silver Soul had a follow-up question regarding defense. He said, also defense, New England, Baltimore, New Orleans, Vikings. Which one would you play this week? If I'm playing one this week, it's most likely it's not going to be New Orleans against Cincinnati. It's not it could be the Vikings. Yeah, it could be the Vikings against the rookie quarterback. Of the group, I feel most comfortable with the New England Patriots defense. The second most comfortable would probably be the Vikings. Thank you. Overcome says start Deion Jackson or Boyd if Higgins is out. Lattimore is not playing for the New Orleans defense against the tight ends. Smash spot for Boyd. It could be. In a full PPR scoring format, it is a very safe play in that regard. But even then, we've seen weeks just like last where T. Higgins is just not active in the game, and we still don't see a lot of utilization going in the direction of Tyler Boyd. So I think that there is a pretty safe floor for Boyd in the regard of he's probably going to catch himself 5 passes, 45 yards. You can probably get yourself close to 10 fantasy points with him. If he scores that touchdown, obviously that's fantastic. Otherwise, I think Deion Jackson could very easily, considering he got a lot of receiving work last time we saw him play against the Denver Broncos defense, I think he could very easily be a 10-point guy as well this week that has goal line upside for his respective team. So as of right now, I'm kind of split down the middle. I'm kind of leaning the direction of the running back though. Work for what you want said I traded Mostert for Connor. Thoughts? I mean, I think if Connor's healthy, then it should pan out pretty well for you because him and Mostert, we know their storied injury histories. Mostert with his knees, Connor with everything, So as of right now, it could bode well. He's got to be healthy. Already had Kyler and Eno Benjamin. Was also looking to condense my wide receiver into an RB1. I have Kupp, Hollywood, CeeDee Lamb, Mike Williams, and Myers. My running backs are Ramondre, Melvin Gordon, Elijah Mitchell, and Connor as of right now. Yeah, I mean, listen, I think you could very easily go and make a move where you can move Mike Williams off this team and probably bring back a good running back, to be honest. You might be able to, again, you have to find a team that is in desperate need of a wide receiver, but that's a different conversation for another time. I guess you have to go kind of scan your league and see what's available. Landon Ramirez says, Aaron Jones, Gabe Davis, or Michael Pittman Jr. this week in the flex, full PPR. Ramondre Stevenson and Breece Hall are already starting for me, and Justin Jefferson and Hollywood are already starting. Okay. In a full PPR, I want to say that Aaron Jones is the best play, but over the last, I would say month of the season, he obviously hasn't been what we anticipated, right? So it provides a little bit of hesitation for me, and I want to probably play Gabriel Davis just because I know there's so much upside in the game. So that's what I'm going to suggest. Let's go Gabriel Davis there. John Landis says PPR, ETN or Deion Jackson. I'd probably go with Deion Jackson just because there's more of a solidified understanding as to the touches that he's going to get within the offense. Also, ETN, Judy, or Deion as a... Okay, so yeah, if I'm picking between those three, then it would be ETN and Deion Jackson. Mainly because Jerry Judy has not been consistent this year, and I don't really want to trust that offense just yet. They're going to have to show more, improve more in order to kind of get that nod of approval for me as a weekly start. Matt sent in a question, said full PPR, Olave, Dobbs, Lamb, Hall, Jeff Wilson Jr., wide receiver, and flex. Okay, if we're starting one of these wide receivers, beginning to kind of... Okay, so Hall has to play in your flex. That's first and foremost. And that kind of sucks because then at that point you might have to sit Jeff Wilson Jr., who's been so good as of late, but so is Hall. So either way. And then if we're picking a wide receiver between Olave and Lamb this week, dude, as much as I want to play Olave, I think Lamb is as good of a wide receiver that you could possibly have. I know that the quarterback position isn't as consistent, but we're probably looking at Andy Dalton also starting once again. That has led to a touchdown in each of the last 2 weeks for Chris Olave, which is fantastic. But as of right now, I'm probably leaning towards Lamb. They're just slightly ahead of him. Okay, a couple more questions here before we catch up. Teddy H said, should I start Clyde Edwards-Helaire over Waddle or Miles Sanders? Also, Kenneth Walker, Deontay Johnson, or Devonta Smith in the flex. Okay, so first and foremost, yes, I would play CEH over Sanders and Waddle this week. Follow-up question, Walker, Deontay Johnson, Devonta Smith. If it's a full PPR, I'm most likely playing Devonta Smith there. If it's a half PPR, I probably lean in the direction of going Kenneth Walker. Overcome says, Knox a vital piece in the barn burner? Probably not. I mean, they haven't proven to us that he is. If he catches, one pass for 35 yards and a touchdown on 2 targets, he's going to be a great play. But it just doesn't mean much, you know what I mean? Okay, let's see here. Now that I've caught up with some of these donations, let's just go ahead and start answering questions. Here we go. Start Eno Benjamin or T. Higgins at the flex. I mean, again, I don't know if we want to trust T. Higgins right now. This is probably the fact of the matter. If we bench him, he probably goes for 30 points. If we start him, he probably goes for 3 points. So that's the predicament that we're in at this moment. So I'm still leaning in the direction of going Eno Benjamin here. Should I start Herbert or Kirk Cousins? I would play Justin Herbert this week. Rondale Moore or Mike Williams? I'm going Mike Williams. Benjamin or Mostert full PPR? I'm probably... If Mostert is healthy, that's the thing. The fact that he's dealing with a knee injury, and that has been the reason why he has missed so much time in his career as of the last 2-3 years, it scares me because he could very easily leave this game with an injury and not return. So at that point, I'm probably leaning towards just playing the healthy guy within that matchup. I'll just go Benjamin there. Let's see here. Benjamin Wilson, Joe Mixon, Kenneth Walker. I don't know how many I'm picking. If I'm just starting 2 running backs, it's probably Jeff Wilson and Joe Mixon. Pick 3 full PPR, Kittle, Njoku, Taysom, or Thielen. I mean, considering we have, wow, that's actually, it may be crazy for me to suggest this, but I honestly want to play all 3 of these tight ends over Thielen. I think they have just as much touchdown upside as Thielen does. Landon, thank you, appreciate it. Let's see here. It says Lamb, Devonta Smith, Garrett Wilson, Christian McCaffrey, Jeff Wilson, Kenneth Walker, Dylan, half PPR, pick 5. If we're picking 5 out of this group, I think it's relatively easy. I think you already have this set. So me telling you isn't going to change your mind. Christian McCaffrey obviously playing as RB1. Jeff Wilson obviously is RB2. Wide receiver 1 is Lamb. Wide receiver 2 is Devonta Smith. And then it's just a matter of who we're picking for the flex, where we're going Kenneth Walker. So yeah, just to kind of ease your nerves or anything of that matter, we're going Kenneth Walker there, the flex. I prefer him over Dylan and Garrett Wilson this week. You're good to go. But again, those lineups pretty much set themselves, if you know what I mean. I appreciate that. If you guys haven't yet already, be sure to like the stream. Click the like button. It takes 2 seconds out of your day, and it certainly does help this channel out a lot. We'll greatly appreciate that. Also, let's see here. Miles Sanders or Kittle this week in a PPR scoring format. Sergio, good question. I'd probably, at this point, man, if Miles Sanders goes for 50 yards, doesn't find the end zone, he's a 5-6 point play within the given week in a PPR. I think Kittle is very much so capable of capturing that kind of value, especially against the Atlanta Falcons defense. I'm going to go Kittle with that right there. Thank you. Denver or Buffalo? Probably, oh man, I mean, I don't like either, but if I had to play one, it's most likely Denver. Just in the hopes that, like, Justin Herbert maybe throws a pick 6, but even then, that offensive line has looked really good. I just don't know if Buffalo's going to be able to do much against Patrick Mahomes. Should be a higher scoring event there between those 2 teams. Traded Justin Herbert and Jeff Wilson Jr. for Brady and Stevenson. Thoughts? I'm okay with that. Again, once in fact Elijah Mitchell returns, the value of Jeff Wilson is diminished, along with Damian Harris returning, the value of Stevenson diminishes. Obviously, Stevenson, it will be more of an active piece in comparison to Jeff Wilson. The quarterback play, again, they're relatively close in my rankings rest of the season. I think they're both kind of in that same spectrum of possibility. The only difference maker is Justin Herbert has a little bit more mobility, which gives him a little bit more upside in terms of potential rushing touchdowns within a given week. Half PPR from Xavier says Etienne Hunt or Rondell Moore. In a half PPR, I'd love to play Rondell Moore probably in a full PPR, but in a half PPR, it's most likely leaning in the direction of Hunt based on touchdown upside, all of that. Let's see here. Ayuk or Deion Jackson. I would go Deion Jackson this week. Again, Ayuk has been relatively inconsistent. And that's kind of the same kind of, I guess, momentum that this entire receiving core for the 49ers have had. Relatively inconsistent. I guess Debo putting up 10 points per week is great, but he should have far better performances that he has proven. I think Debo will continue to be that wide receiver 1 with Kittle getting more work in the receiving game. Again, it doesn't help Ayuk long term. Number 327 says Dobbs, Henderson, or Pickens. I probably go Henderson here. Again, guys, like I mentioned in yesterday's video, when Henderson has been the starter for this team, he has been extremely successful, whether it is on the ground or through the air. They've proven, not even in just 2021, but also in 2020, that when he is given full, backfield opportunity, he's easily plus 13 fantasy points in a half PPR. And I think the Carolina Panthers matchup just only helps going into this week. Olave or Amari Cooper. I have to check something in that regard. If I'm not mistaken, one of the starting corners for New England may be out. He may be noted as questionable. I just want to check what the status of him is right now. Yeah, so Jonathan Jones, I believe, is going to be out this week. Now, my question is he the primary X covering cornerback? Let me go check this real quick. Let's see the New England Patriots defense. Let me look at their lineup here via their depth chart. Yeah, you know what's crazy? Okay, who the heck is Jack Jones? Wait, hold up. Jack Jones who the heck is that? How much has he played? Jack Jones, according to Pro Football Focus, is the #1 ranked cornerback in terms of coverage grades right now. Holy crap. Who the heck is Jack Jones? He's number 13. Okay, is this the guy that got a pick 6 against Brady the other week? Is that what it is? Somebody confirm this in the chat for me. Somebody who's a Patriots fan. Thank you. Let me go ahead and scroll down. There was a couple more donations sent in. Let me catch up with these. Where were we leaving off in terms of some of the donations that were sent earlier? We did overcome. Okay. Patchter. The Patchter says, Mike Williams or DJ Moore this week. I'm scared about the Denver defense against Mike Williams. Again, I'm afraid as well of Patrick Surtain. I'm still playing him. With Keenan Allen out, there's a lot of targets that should be going in the direction of Michael Williams. I know there are going to be a lot of contested catches, but I trust in his talent over the potential of PJ Walker and DJ Moore. Kelly Appleton says, I have a standard league: Deontay Johnson, Jamar Chase, Lockett, Duvernay. Who starts and who's in my flex? Okay, of the wide receivers that you mentioned, Chase and Lockett are your starters. I think your flex is probably Duvernay. And then you had a follow-up question saying Deontay Johnson or Alec Pierce in a half PPR scoring format. At this moment, I'm probably thinking Alec Pierce has just as much upside as Deontay Johnson going into the weekend's matchup. So, yeah, I'm probably going Alec Pierce there. Prime 8 Plays says, my biggest red flags for a half PPR are Hurts. Okay, wait, what? We have Hurts, we have Saquon, we have Derrick Henry, we have Mostert, we have ETN, Latavius Murray, Sutton, Hollywood Brown, Deontay Johnson, Ayuk, Dobbs, and Pitts. So you're asking me what your biggest red flags are? I mean, they're definitely not at quarterback or running back. I'll tell you that much. I think your biggest concern, if anything, is probably trying to figure out who the better tight end is rest of the way, and finding another. Well, actually, your wide receivers are fine. Sutton and Hollywood could very easily both be top 12 by the end of the season. So I'm not even bothered by that. It's just kind of picking who to start at tight end. This week, again, I'd probably go Njoku over Pitts. Otherwise, your team is perfectly fine. You got such great running back depth with Henry and Saquon. And then you have ETN on the ascent. Mostert pretty much finding his footing now. So I don't think you have a problem there, Prime. Let me see here. What the heck is going on? Let's see. Someone in the chat, Ian, said Deion Jackson or Pollard. I would play Deion Jackson this week. Rondell Moore or Duvernay in a full PPR. In a full PPR, I think Duvernay, Duvernay has more touchdown upside technically because of how the offense is built. The fact that Lamar Jackson has 12 passing touchdowns already this year, 4 towards Mark Andrews, 8 towards other receiving options. But I think Rondell Moore could very easily come away with this game. 7 catches, 50 plus. I mean, you know what? So could Duvernay. Duvernay had 5 catches last week, 50 yards. Duvernay's probably the better play. He has just as much of a floor and probably a more significant upside for the week. As much as I like Rondell Moore, Duvernay he's perfectly in an offense that is going to allow him to have that kind of upside. Lockett or AJ Brown this week? I'll play Lockett. Breece Hall or Aaron Jones, half PPR. I think I'm leaning towards Breece Hall this week. Najee Harris or Myers PPR. Give me Myers this week there. Hey, Andrew, I'm in an 18 full PPR scoring format. I made a trade for Higbee and gave up Josh. Ooh, what? Why? Why would you give away Josh Jacobs for Tyler Higbee? My running backs are Mixon, Kamara, Swift, Connor. Listen, I understand that you had good running back depth, but this should not be traded away for this in any capacity. Josh Jacobs is coming off of 2 monster performances. If I was trading away Josh Jacobs, I would want Mark Andrews in return, legitimately. Based off recent production. So especially in a full PPR, considering Jacobs has caught the ball 5 times each of the last 3 weeks, hopefully you got more in return than just Higbee, because that is a super concerning trade, in my opinion there, Khalid. Where is it saying that Gallup is out? Yeah, I'll drop a link. Give me a moment, please. Injury report. Let me go to it's the Dallas Cowboys official website. I'll drop it in the chat. So whoever was asking about oh, what the heck? Dude, all right, that's my bad. That's my bad. It literally, dude, when I went to their website, it was slotted for week 1. Okay, I will redact my message. I will redact my statement. Disregard anything I said about Michael Gallup. I went to their website today. I looked at the injury report. I thought, okay, it should be normal. Instead, it's not on week 6. It was on week 1. Okay. Fixed it. Thank you, whoever called me out on that one. Appreciate it. We fixed that problem. So actually, Gallup is playing. Perfect. My bad, guys. All right. Dude, it was tabbed on week 1. Why is it tabbed on week 1? It's week 6. Okay, anyway. Let me go ahead. Let's move a couple things here. A couple more donations were sent in. Fainsky said, thoughts on this trade? I made Adams / CEH for Jacobs, Smith, and Okay, so J.K. Dobbins team. Okay, let's see your trade. So you sent Adams and CEH for Jacobs, Devonta Smith, and J.K. Dobbins. I'm okay with that. You have a Burrow, Adams. Okay, D2. Okay, who are your running backs? You have Walker, CEH. So you get back those two guys. You have Brian Robinson. You have Swift still. I mean, again, I don't know if you need running back depth technically. I don't think you need to give away Adams for Jacobs, but I don't mind it in this regard. I think it's a relatively even trade if you're coming back with Jacobs in that regard. Stainsky, thank you. Straight Urge says full PPR. Start Eno Benjamin or Melvin Gordon this week. I'm probably leaning in the direction of Melvin Gordon. And then your follow-up question was Disley or Everett. Because Keenan Allen's out, I probably lean in the direction of playing Everett there. Disley is like I'm getting you 10 points, or I'm probably getting you maybe 3 or 4 if he's lucky without a touchdown. Ashley Gomez says half PPR, 10-team league. We have 2 flex options. Okay. Let's see what we could do with this lineup. So you have Josh Allen, you have Lockett, you have Dobbs, you have Dalvin Cook, Eno Benjamin, Everett, Deion Jackson, Jeff Wilson Jr. Your bench is Keenan Allen, Rondell Moore, Isaiah McKenzie. Okay, so I would probably play McKenzie over Dobbs, Romeo Dobbs. So I would be Josh Allen as your starting quarterback there, Ashley. Your starting wide receivers would be Lockett and Isaiah McKenzie. Starting running backs are Cook and Jeff Wilson. And your 2 flex options would be Eno Benjamin and Deion Jackson this week. That's my suggestion. Obviously, still play Everett in the tight end position. Thank you. All right, where's Maz? Maz says, hey, brother, would you change anything about the starting lineup here? We have Aaron Rodgers, we have Kamara, we have Hall, we have Jefferson, Mike Williams, Sutton, Hendo. We have the Colts defense. And then who do you have on the bench? You have JT who's out. You have Higgins who you don't trust. You have Boyd. You have Pittman. You have Warren. You have Cowboys defense. So based on what we have available to us, I don't think I'm changing a single thing. You're good to go with your roster this week there, Mass. Thank you. Donovan Jordan says ETN, Najee Harris, or Alec Pierce in the flex this week. My starting running backs are Saquon and Breece Hall. My wide receivers are Cooper and Sutton. Yeah, at this point, Donovan, I don't know what your scoring format is. If it's a half PPR, I'm probably playing ETN there. If it's a full PPR, I'm probably playing Alec Pierce. Thank you. Ricardo says standard Pittman or Olave. I'd play Olave in a standard league. Thank you. Overcome says Parham to continue digging into Everett's volume. Potentially, yeah, potentially. Again, the whole thing about Everett and his value is I'm perfectly fine with Everett in between the 20s. If this means that Everett is not going to have more red zone utilization, I'm perfectly fine with it. Just as long as he is playing in between the 20s and he's getting the receptions and yards that we need him to get, especially in those like half full PPR scoring formats where he can balance out at the end of the week with 8 fantasy points, which is honestly a good week for a tight end in the current landscape. Let's see here. Colin Smith says full PPR Melvin Gordon or J.K. Dobbins. I'll take Melvin Gordon this week. Jorge Perez says full PPR. Wide receiver, tight end flex. Allen Robinson, Njoku, Kittle, Henderson, Pickens, McKenzie. Okay, what is this? So full PPR, I need a wide receiver, tight end flex. I have these 3. Can get these 3. So do you want to? Okay, so you're saying you can like drop players? Is that what you're referring to, Jorge? So I'd be willing to 100% drop Allen Robinson for Henderson right now. Absolutely. And then I'd probably just keep Njoku or Kittle for the rest of the season because you need that tight end, at least stability for right now. Dami says half PPR Zay Jones with no Marvin Jones Jr. or Boyd with no T. Higgins. I'd probably play Boyd with no T. Higgins. Hoot Guy says full PPR Mixon and Debo for Cook and T. Higgins. Mixon, Debo, Cook, T. Higgins. Probably not. I'd probably just keep Mixon and Debo. Cinco 2X says play 3. Okay, play 3. We have Wilson, Henderson, Kamara, Fournette, and Walker. Kamara and Fournette are the automatic 2. Wilson's the number 3. Thank you. Ricardo says, should I trade London for Brady? My other wide receivers are Debo, Olave, Godwin, and Keenan Allen. My quarterback is Geno Smith and Kirk Cousins. I don't think you need to make that trade. If you want to, you certainly can. I just don't think you need to at this point. I think the stability of the back and forth of Geno Smith, Kirk Cousins could very easily just be, it'll suffice for the rest of the season. As to whether it's going to win you games, probably not. But if you want to make that trade, you can. I don't think you need to. Beats21 says Eno Benjamin or Pittman this week. I'll probably play Eno there. Dave Curtis says Dobbs or Alec Pierce. Give me Alec Pierce. Fainsky says I got Adams and CEH. Okay, that's fine. Again, like I was saying, I'm good with either side of that deal. Like I was mentioning, you don't need the running back depth, so it's fine. I'm okay with it. Overcome says tight end streamer outside of the top 10 for this week. Oof, there really aren't many, but I would probably say it's Will Disley. Nel Santiago says, hey, bro, need two. Pickens, Dillon, Henderson, Corey Davis. Play Pickens and Henderson this week. Nels, thank you. Cord Lopez says, full PPR flex. AJ Dillon, Brandon Ayuk, Rondale Moore. Choose one. If I'm playing one out of those three options in a full PPR, it's Rondale Moore. Thank you. Arthur sends in a question. It says, full PPR, Pitts or Taysom Hill. And Zach Wilson or Russell Wilson. I would play Russell Wilson over Zach Wilson. I would play Taysom Hill over Kyle Pitts. It is crazy, but I would do it. Donnie Bravo says flex Taysom over Pickens. Taysom. Are you gonna get us 10 points this week? I think there's a very good chance that if you're playing in a full PPR, Pickens could be a little bit more of a stable play. In the different scoring formats like a standard league or a half PPR, Taysom could get a little bit more credence in that regard. But considering you already have Kelsey at tight end, I think you're safe playing Pickens in a full PPR. If it's not a full PPR, I think I'd probably pivot to Taysom. Leon says, I need to pick between Darrell Henderson, Kenneth Walker, and Eno Benjamin. If I'm picking two, it's Eno and it's Henderson. Thank you. Plan B says PPR, start one, Gabriel Davis, Sutton, or Lamb. If I'm picking one, as of right now, it's most likely going to be, oh man, I really want to play Gabe Davis this week. I know Sutton is in a perfect position to succeed. Probably Sutton goes off as well. What do I want to do with Gabe Davis, man? What do I want to do with Gabe Davis? I would probably, in a full PPR scoring format, play Cortland Sutton there. I'd probably play him over Gabe Davis. Jason Simon says, I need to start one, Cobb or Skronik. If I'm playing one out of the two, I'm playing Cobb this week. Brandon D says full PPR, Alec Pierce or Pickens. Between the two in a full PPR, I'm probably leaning in the direction that, man, I honestly think that they're equal values in terms of what their potential is. I think the easier matchup is most likely in the favor of Alec Pierce, where I could just kind of lean in that direction because I know they're going to be passing the entire game. My only issue is, again, because there's no Jonathan Taylor, because there's less of a running game, this is going to force a lot of turnovers out of the direction of Matt Ryan because the dude's going to be getting hit the entire time. So that scares me with Alec Pierce, but I think he's probably got just a slight edge over Pickens right now. Definitely not an athlete. Says, hey, bro, drop Ayuk for Alec Pierce. Is it worth it? I think it's probably worth it, yeah. Christian Santos says, Pittman without JT and Hines or Godwin in a full PPR. I'd probably play Godwin, mainly because the entire secondary for the Pittsburgh Steelers is out. Okay, catching up. I'm catching up. Trust me, it's taking a while, but let me go ahead and scroll up here. Let me see what I can find. Okay, so of all these questions that are on the screen, half PPR, do I start McKenzie, Pickens, or Slayton? I probably go McKenzie there. Half PPR, Deion Jackson or Pickens. I'd probably go Deion Jackson there. Flex, Drake London or Lazard, full PPR. I honestly, as of right now, I'm beginning to lean in the direction of liking Lazard just a little bit more this week. Standard League, I have Josh Jacobs, Stevenson, Hunt as my running backs. I have Kupp, AJ Brown, Bateman as my wide receivers. I picked up Pickens and traded Everett to get McLaurin. Okay, that's a good trade. I got Kelsey at tight end. Should I trade Hunt and Brown for a running back? You're going to trade Hunt and AJ Brown for a running back. If you're going to do so, it better be a good running back coming back in return. I don't mind that, but considering your wide receiver depth goes from Kupp to Bateman, you don't have a wide receiver too for the next, foreseeable future. So at that point, you would most like, I know you have McLaurin, but is McLaurin going to be able to get the job done? We heard earlier today that Carson Wentz, I think he broke one of his fingers in his throwing hand. That could hold him out for a good amount of time. Can we trust Taylor Heineke with McLaurin? I don't think so. Like we had the experience last year, I don't believe we can. So at this point, I think you have to keep the wide receiver, or if you're going to make a trade, you go and upgrade from AJ Brown to another receiving option. Just traded Kamara for Breece Hall. Thoughts? I'm okay with it. I mean, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. I'm kind of 50-50 on the matter, mainly because if those touchdowns that Taysom Hill has been yoinking start going in the direction of Alvin Kamara, we're going to regret that trade. But then again, I did hear something of the sort that Kamara is being charged with some sort of, I don't know, his legal case is beginning to start going into a direction. So be careful with Kamara. That's all I'm saying. Keenan Allen downgraded to doubtful. Yes, I know this. Start Dobbs or ETN in the flex. Give me ETN this week. Jacoby Myers, Mike Williams, Olave pick 2. Mike Williams and Olave this week. PPR, Eno, Hunt, or DJ Moore. I'd probably go Eno. DJ Moore, Garrett Wilson, Romeo Dobbs is my wide receiver 3 option. Between those 3, I go DJ Moore. Jeff Wilson in the flex. Waddle and London are my other wide receivers. Thanks, no problem. Let's see here. Abdullah says full PPR. We have to fill these spots. If we're filling those potential spots, Eno is the RB1. Jerry Jeudy's the wide receiver 1, and the flex option is most likely Dobbins there. James Robinson or Najee Harris full PPR this week. I'd probably play James Robinson. I just don't trust Najee Harris against Tampa Bay. Tevin Coleman or Michael Carter this week. Probably Tevin Coleman. Just an easier matchup against Atlanta. Let me see. What is this update? All right. So according to the report that I just received, okay, just right now, let me go ahead and read this out to y'all. The report reads, the Carolina Panthers are listening to other teams' potential trades for running back Christian McCaffrey, blah, 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 according to sources at ESPN. All right, we'll see what happens, man. Hopefully the Rams trade for Christian McCaffrey and just go all in. I would love to see that. Imagine that. Imagine that squad, huh? Anyway, what do you think about Latavius Murray? I think he's probably the RB3 until further notice, mainly because he doesn't know the scheme as much as the other two, Melvin Gordon and Boone, because they've been with the team all summer. For the last couple of years. So at this point, I'm probably thinking we can play him in future weeks, but for right now, he probably has to sit on our bench. Let's see here. Deion Jackson. Okay, we did that. Okay, we did that. Moving on. Let me go ahead and scroll down. Let me go ahead and catch up with some of the donations that were sent in from y'all. Again, you guys don't have to send in donations. I'm answering the questions in the chat. So if you do feel obliged, be sure to go ahead and if you send in a question via donation, I do appreciate it, but make sure you go ahead and add your scoring format next to it because it does help me out a lot in terms of getting through it quickly. Let's see here. Ryan Walton sent in a question. Said Mike Williams, Gabe Davis, or Olave. Pick 2 PPR. I'm probably at that point going Gabe Davis and Mike Williams. And it kind of hurts doing so, but it is. Man, dude, that is tough. That is tough. Olave is such a damn good player. Kelvin says 14 team half PPR. I'm 3-2. I have Adams, Henry. Okay, so Adams and Henry for Tyreek Hill, Aaron Jones, and Kenneth Walker. No, I'd keep what you have. I would keep Adams and I would keep Henry. Okay, this is your issue. You're saying if I lose this week, this is okay. Yeah, so you don't want to lose this week, so you want to make the trade. I think in the long term, it does hurt you per se because we're talking about 2 20-point players with Adams and Henry that you're sending away. And I understand you're getting a little bit of running back depth back, but Aaron Jones just hasn't looked the same. And I know he's going to return to form at capacities, but he's definitely not going to be the Aaron Jones of old, being a top 3 running back within, a season. So at this point, Kelvin, I think I'm keeping what you have. Evan Cole says start Pittman, Davis, Lazard, and then defense for waivers week 7. Okay, we'll talk about defense in just a moment. If we're talking about a wide receiver play between the 3 that you've mentioned, it's Pittman and Lazard. If we're looking at week 7, let's see here. Week 7 NFL. I would say the Packers versus the Commanders, assuming that Taylor Heineke's the quarterback, but that could be a decent play. Moving on, what else is a good option for this given week? I like the Broncos going up. You know what? Not so much, actually. Damn, there are not very many good matchups. I would say maybe the Dolphins going up against the Steelers or the Patriots going up against the Bears. But outside of that, the Buccaneers against the Panthers, Cincinnati versus the Falcons, that could be a good option for a waiver pickup. So probably the most available of those options that I mentioned is most likely the Bengals and the Packers in week 7. Alrighty. Let's see here. It's Magic says pick 3: Singletary, Pittman, Waddle, or Olave. Olave, Pittman, and probably. Do I want to play Singletary over Waddle this week in a half PPR scoring format? Probably. So I'm probably going Olave, Pittman, and Singletary this week. Keegan Yap says Alec Pierce or Drake London. Drake London is playing against the 49ers. I don't really like that too much. Obviously, there's chance for potential upside garbage time, but as of right now, I'm probably going Alec Pierce there. Manny R says Brown for Higgins, Lamb, or Godwin rest of the season. AJ Brown for any of those options. Yeah, I would trade AJ Brown for Lamb right now. Oh, it's Hollywood Brown. It's not AJ Brown. Yeah, I mean, in that same capacity, I'd probably still be willing to trade him for Lamb rest of the season. Running back trade targets using Melvin Gordon. As of right now, probably looking in the direction of Aaron Jones, most likely, because I'm trying to find someone who hasn't performed well enough to kind of at least garner too much value besides their name. Kelly Appleton says standard league. Taylor and Hines are out. I have Rashad White. Pick up Joshua Kelly, Jalen Warren, DJ Dallas, Boone, or James Cook. I would pick up Boone and use him instead of Rashad White as your potential option this week, Kelly. Thank you. John sends in a question, says trade J.K. Dobbins for Zeke. I probably... Oh, man. Do I want to do that? Probably not. But I could see the argument for doing so. And the argument purely is in the kind of realm of like, hey, once Dak comes back, this offense is going to be a better team. But as of right now, I'm probably leaning towards being a little bit skeptical on the matter because of Pollard. The issue with both these backs is that Pollard exists and Gus Edwards exists, and both those scare the daylights out of me. As of right now, if I had to like for sure, who the heck would I rather have right now? If I had to just pick one, I legit probably pick Zeke. But it is tough to give that suggestion to make that trade. Will Havel says, who is a good flex? Can I trade? Okay, so if you're trying to trade Damian Harris right now and you're trying to get a flex option, dude, it's going to be hard because he may miss 1 or 2 weeks here. So maybe you can go use his consistency of putting up 10 plus points each of the last, what was it, the first 4 weeks of the season? Or actually it wasn't even the first 4 weeks. Week 1, he had like single digit points. It was weeks 2, 3, and 4. So if you're going to move Damian Harris, who doesn't have any sort of receiving upside, and try to get a flex option, I'm probably looking to try to get some sort of wide receiver that is a PPR like machine. Like I would legitimately even look within his own team and try to get like Jacoby Myers. All right, let me go ahead and let's look at this chat. Andy Dalton or Russell Wilson? I'll take Russell Wilson there, Kevin. I almost said production. Preventure. I'd play Russell Wilson there. Henderson or Kenneth Walker? Matt, I would play Henderson. PPR, Mike Williams against the bad matchup, London, Duvernay, Pickens. If I'm picking 3, I'm still playing the bad matchup. I'm also following up with probably playing Duvernay and Deion Jackson. Start Myers or London non-PPR. In a non-PPR, I think I'm still going with Myers. I think he just has more touch. I mean, he has more potential for touches because they throw the ball more within their offense naturally. Pick one flexible PPR. Of the players that you mentioned, I'm playing Henderson there, Gary. Trade advice, Gabe Davis and Aaron Jones for Diggs. My running backs are Christian McCaffrey, Hall, Patterson, ETN. My wide receivers are ... Nah, I mean, at this point, I think if I'm you, I'd probably rather keep the depth of Gabe Davis and Aaron Jones. I honestly think that depth in fantasy, especially considering what you have, is super important. I mean, here's the thing. At wide receiver, it's not going to be like you're missing Gabe Davis much because you're going to get Diggs back. But my concern is what happens... man. If Patterson comes back and he's nobody, if Etienne never takes the full share, I think you could still survive with this trade. Technically, you can survive. You are siphoning off depth, but you can still survive. So at that point, I don't mind it, but it's risky. That's what I'll tell you, Robert. It is definitely risky. Standard scoring, Kamara or Mixon this week, or Hall. Or sorry, what did you say? Standard scoring, Kamara for Mixon or Hall. If we're trading it just straight up, I would rather, oh man. I don't know if I'm even making that trade in general. I mean, if you want to get rid of Kamara, I'd probably take Mixon because there's more of a immediate understanding as to what you're going to get, I don't mind if you make it for Hall. Like somebody made it earlier. They said, hey, I traded Kamara for Hall. I'm okay with it. If Kamara starts scoring touchdowns soon, like 2 or 3 a week, because they're not handing it off to Taysom Hill anymore, then we have a problem because we know how much value Kamara has long term. Let's see here. My chat updated, so I got to scroll back up a little bit here. A couple more donations were sent in. Let's see here. Full PPR, Kittle or Everett this week? I play Kittle this week. Thank you. Again, guys, questions like that can be answered tomorrow morning. You guys do not have to send in donations. I would say keep your money because, again, we will have up-to-date rankings tomorrow morning from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on the channel. So just trying to do you guys a favor, try to do you solid. We'll have up-to-date rankings, half PPR for running backs, quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends. We'll even talk about potential, defense and kicker options that you can roll with tomorrow morning. That'll all be included in tomorrow's 2-hour live stream, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Someone says drop James Robinson for Henderson rest of the season. I don't know if that's the best play. Eric, I would probably say that if I was to rank these players rest of the season, I would say that Henderson maybe has more value, but that's under the assumption that the Rams don't go and make a trade for another running back. That's my biggest concern. Like we just talked about with McCaffrey, which we talked about this offseason with Kareem Hunt. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams try to go make a deal with the team and bring in a running back to carry the ball and carry the team in that regard. So that's my only concern with the Henderson pickup in the form of dropping James Robinson. Would you trade Hollywood for A.J. Brown? I have Hurts, so it could be a nice stack. What's Hollywood's value going forward? I mean, look, here's the thing. I think Hollywood Brown has been so valuable as of late that I'm perfectly fine keeping him in comparison to A.J. Brown. The biggest issue I have with A.J. Brown is the fact that Hurts has only thrown 4 passing touchdowns this year. So if we're going to continue that rate of 4 passing touchdowns within 5 games, the chances of A.J. Brown scoring anything even close to 6 or 7 touchdowns this year, it may be out of the realm of possibility. While in the regard of Hollywood Brown, once D-Hop comes back and starts pulling double coverage, Hollywood could be an even better option, honestly. Hey, Andrew, would you start Myers or Hollywood not PPR? Yeah, I mean, or London, sorry. Yeah, I'd play Myers like I mentioned before. Lamar or Murray, full PPR? Lamar. Would you start ETN or Boone this week? Do you trust Mostert and Lamb this week? I'm perfectly fine trusting these guys because I know they're going to get the opportunity. As to whether or not they act upon the opportunity, that's a completely different conversation, right? Like a lot of what I do here is I'm predicting potential success based on opportunities given to a given player, right? If they're given, 15 targets and he catches 5 of them, that's not, something we can kind of prepare for. Obviously, we're expecting him to make a majority of the plays, but at this point, yeah, I'm pretty comfortable trusting these 2 options for this week. If I'm starting one of these 2, I'm more in line with most likely going, man, it is tough, but it's probably playing Boone this week. Just because that matchup is so spicy against the Chargers. Pickens or Boyd if Higgins is out. If I'm playing one, it's most likely Boyd. Jeff Wilson or Kenneth Walker. Jeff Wilson. Myers stays healthy at flex when he's... Yeah, I mean, listen, if he's healthy, that's fantastic, but he never can stay healthy for some reason. Do I keep Jamar? Yes, this may be a week where he goes off, and then you might be able to just trade him next week if you're really not feeling comfortable, which I would try to speak, to kind of ease your mind and keep him rest of the season. But as of right now, only you can control your team. Do I trade Damian Pierce and Brandon Cooks for Amon-Ra, St. Brown, and Gallup? No, you keep what you have. Thank you, Andrew. And yes, it's half PPR, so Taysom it is. Yep. Thank you, Donnie. Appreciate it. A couple more questions were sent in. What you suspected says Eno Benjamin, Ezekiel Elliott, or Deion Jackson this week. I play Eno Benjamin there. Stephen Pillar says, I'm 4-1. Kamara for Jonathan Taylor. Running backs are Kamara, Lenny, Melvin Gordon, Boone, and Brian Robinson. At this point, if you want to take the risky play, I would say sure. But again, risk. We don't know what the status of Jonathan Taylor is. We don't know how serious the injury is. He could come back, mess up the ankle again. Boom, he's off to the injured reserve. We do not know. So off of conventional wisdom, I'd say keep your healthy player, but at this point, Jonathan Taylor presents so much upside, I'd be willing to make the risk if you feel comfortable at a 4-1 team. Start Godwin or Pittman. At this point, I'm going Godwin this week. Lazard or Duvernay this week. I'd probably go Duvernay. Standard scoring, we already talked about that. London, Gabe Davis or Miles Sanders. I'd go Gabe Davis this week. Scrolling down. Terry R says Taysom or Njoku. Pick 2, Mixon, Gabe Davis, Pittman. Mixon and Gabe Davis are my suggestions there. As for Njoku or Taysom Hill, if it's Njoku in a full PPR, I'm willing to roll with him. I think if it's in a half PPR at this moment, considering all the injuries that have taken place with the Saints, I'd probably go Taysom in a standard or a half. Eno or Isaiah McKenzie, I'd probably go Eno. I think he has pretty decent upside in terms of the receiving game. Let's see here. Edgar Allan Poe says, half PPR, need a tight end with Muth out. I have a bunch of running backs. Trade for Goddard or Ertz. I have Sanders, J-Rob, Brian Robinson, Zeke, Melvin Gordon, Kenneth Walker, Jeff Wilson. Yeah, if you can go ahead and potentially make a move in order to acquire one of those 2 tight ends, by all means do it. If you're moving one of these players, obviously I'd feel more comfortable moving Zeke or James Robinson, and then I think in my current position, I think I want to keep Kenneth Walker and Brian Robinson. I think I'm willing to move anyone else. I just want to keep those rookie backs because I know how much value they have. Michael Pittman or Amari Cooper. I'd go Amari Cooper this week. Actually, yeah, you know what? Maybe not. I don't know. I got to think about that one. Tomorrow we'll have an answer on that for sure. I got to do a little bit more digging on that secondary for the Patriots. Aaron Jones for Hollywood Brown. If you don't need running backs, then sure. Otherwise, it's tough to give away that kind of depth at running back, even though he hasn't felt like depth as of late. Rondo Moore or James Robinson. I'll take Rondo Moore this week. Eno Benjamin or Melvin. I think we talked about this earlier. I think I'm still leaning in the direction of Melvin Gordon under the assumption he's playing the Chargers and he's ready to go. If Cooper Kupp is out, which he won't be, but if he is Allen Robinson worth starting over Darrell Henderson? Probably not. I honestly don't think so. Because Allen Robinson doesn't play Cooper Kupp's role. He will not play Cooper Kupp's role. If anything, they would put Skoranek there, right? So that would be the play. Godwin or A.J. Brown, are we talking about trade or are we talking about just this week alone? Because if it's just this week alone, I'm okay with just... I mean, honestly, in both scenarios, I'd probably go with A.J. Brown. But if it's a full PPR, you could probably convince me to go Godwin. Because in a half PPR scoring format standard, A.J. Brown has a little bit of an advantage. But after a little bit of movement there, that could be an even matchup because of how many receptions Godwin gets out of this Tom Brady-led offense. But as of right now, yes, it's probably AJB. Hi, Andrew. I need 2. Please pick between Kamara, Henderson, and Mostert, and Sutton or Lamb. Okay, so Sutton or Lamb, I go Sutton. As for Kamara, Henderson, or Mostert, I go Kamara and Henderson. Thank you. Let's see here. Maz sends in a question. Okay, there were a couple more questions. Who did we miss? Did we miss anybody? Stephen Pillar, we did the first one there. We did Terry R. We did Edgar Allan Poe. Stephen Pillar had a second question, but let's do Maz again. Trade Pittman for Pickens rest of the season. I would probably keep Pittman rest of the season. Thank you. And then, yes, smash the like button. Guys, if you haven't yet already, and you want to show some appreciation for the channel, I know there's a lot of you guys asking questions. I'm trying my very best to catch up. Again, there's 600 of you and 1 of me. If we were to flip the tables and I sent 600 questions in your direction, it'd definitely be difficult. So if you guys could, be patient. If you can, if you've asked a question, be patient. Don't spam it. Spamming typically leads me away from answering said question. So just be patient, guys. I'm trying my very best. All right. How long have we been streaming for? Nearly an hour. Okay, we got another hour here. So do not worry. We'll try to get to your guys' questions. Even if we don't today, tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we'll be here live streaming on the channel. Of course, giving you guys the best potential advice we can with up-to-date rankings on the screen. Thank you. All right, so Maz, we're taking Pittman there. Stephen Pillar sending other league. Half PPR, 2 flex options. We have Diggs, Kenneth Walker for Christian McCaffrey, Mike Williams. If I'm picking 2, I'd probably rather have these 2, to be honest, in a half PPR scoring format rest season. Christian McCaffrey, Mike Williams are probably the guys I'd rather have. You have Allen, you have Cook, Kenneth Walker, Dylan, Najee, Diggs. Yeah, so these are the 2 I'd rather have. So make that trade, I would say. Boom. Scrolling back down. Got offered ETN and Mike Thomas for Melvin Gordon and Mike Williams. I'd probably rather have Melvin Gordon and Michael Williams, to be honest, because I don't trust Michael Thomas at all. Deontay Johnson, London, Valdez, Scantling. If I'm picking two out of these options, probably Deontay and London. Valdez, Scantling looked good last week. I just don't know if I can trust them 100%. What's up, iShine? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Nice to see you. Full PPR. Fournette, Dobbins, Judy for Swift and AJ Brown. I'm okay with that. I'm perfectly fine with that. I'll take Swift and AJ Brown rest of the season there, Abdullah. Pickens or Boyd. We talked about this a little bit earlier. I'm going Boyd there if he's out. Simply says, you helped me last stream. I told you I'm 1-4. You said the trade da-da-da-da to that. Da-da-da. Offer Melvin Gordon for Najee Harris straight up. Standard league. Are we offering Melvin Gordon for Najee Harris straight up? I don't know if I could trust Najee Harris. Again, he does say he's fully healthy. I just don't know if the matchups are really going to help him out at any capacity. So you could definitely try it. I just don't know if it's going to help. What does this say? Sorry, just got here waiting for our room at Disney World. But I have priorities. Deion Jackson or CEH? At this point, it's... Oh, man, that's a good question. Probably right now against the Bills defense, it's most likely Deion Jackson in my suggestion. Mainly because if CEH doesn't score a touchdown, I can't expect him to score more than Deion Jackson would. And if Deion Jackson scores a touchdown, then it's over, right? So I've been to Disney World before in Florida. I did the whole tour there with Epcot and the Animal Kingdom that they had over there. Pretty interesting experience. For those of you who live in Florida, dude, I do not understand how you guys live with that humidity. Like, I'm sure you've gotten used to it, but the California dry weather over here is far more comfortable in my eyes. I'd rather have dry weather with no wind than humidity of that capacity. It was brutal. Let's see here. Scrolling up, there was a couple donations sent in here. Dale Derrick says, who would you start full PPR? Quarterback, running back, 2 wide receivers, and a tight end, 2 flex. We have starting Mahomes. So Fournette, Diggs, Pittman, Andrews, Waddle, Jeff Wilson, Lazard, McKenzie. So Mahomes is your quarterback. Fournette and who's your Jeff Wilson are your 2 starting running backs. Diggs and Pittman are your wide receivers. Andrews is your tight end. And I'd legitimately play McKenzie over Waddle at the flex. Trust Philip Lindsay or Deion Jackson? I mean, I think they're probably going to split, but I go Deion Jackson primarily because I know he's going to get the third down work. Keegan Yap, I did not miss your question. I did respond to it, but I will go back and I will once again respond to it. I'd rather play Eno this week. Okay. A lot of questions sent in. Let's get to these. So for those of you who sent in a donation for a question, I do appreciate that. Let's try to catch up here. After Dale Derrick, we had Mario Robles said, I have Mike Williams, St. Brown, Chase, Godwin, and Hopkins. My running backs are Najee, Pierce, Walker, and Dillon. Should I give up 2 to 3 of these for Kelsey or Andrew? If you're going to give up pieces for Kelsey or Andrew, I mean, if you don't have a tight end, yeah, I'm okay with this. If you're going to move, let's say, for example, if you're going to move like Mike Williams with, I don't know, let's say Dillon or, somebody of that extent for Kelsey, if you're going to move Najee Harris and Mike Williams for Kelsey, I'm okay with it. Because at this point, I've lost all hope with Najee Harris, which I don't like, but, it is what it is. Kenichiwa1234 says full PPR, pick 3. Evans versus Pittsburgh, Godwin versus Pittsburgh, Gabriel Davis versus Kansas City, Michael Williams versus Denver, Christian Kirk versus Indianapolis, or Olave versus Cincinnati. If I'm picking 3 options legitimately in a full PPR, I honestly do believe that Mike Williams and Chris Godwin are both guys that in a full PPR should be considered automatic starts. After that, I'd probably go Gabe Davis. Isaac K says non-PPR, Tyler Higbee at tight end. We have flex Godwin or Hunt. In a non-PPR, if I'm picking between Godwin and Hunt, I'm probably playing Hunt because there's more touchdown upside there. Would you sit either of these for Taysom Hill this week? Thoughts on grabbing Saquon's handcuff? At this point, I'm probably in a position where I'm considering playing Taysom Hill over Higbee because Higbee's not going to score a touchdown. It's a non-PPR, so he's only getting utilization from yardage. And I honestly think there's more potential upside for Taysom Hill scoring a touchdown than there is Higbee, which kind of leads me in that direction. Kind of risky, but I'm willing to do it. Benjamin or Jeff Wilson, DHC or DCH, excuse me. I played Jeff Wilson. Andrew, my boy, hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for being here. There's about 600 of you in here. Greatly appreciate you guys, of course, supporting the channel with your presence and, of course, helping continuing to build this community. Rondell Moore, Deion Jackson, full PPR. I think I'm still in the direction of Deion Jackson there. Deion Jackson or Olave? Give me Olave there. Dubs or Juju Smith? I played Romeo Dubs this week. Dobbs. Cooper Cup. Okay, so this is Amari Cooper. I almost said Cooper Cup. Amari Cooper, Metcalf, Sutton, Dobbs, Olave. Choose two. If I'm picking two out of these potential options, it's most it's most likely Olave and Metcalf. Oh no, what am I saying? There's Sutton there. It's probably Sutton and Olave. Ah, my God, my brain's gonna explode. It's probably Sutton and Olave. That's what it probably is, Andrew. Jeff Wilson or Kenneth Walker, full PPR. Jeff Wilson. Tevin Coleman or Michael Carter. I think I answered this a little bit before. I went with Tevin Coleman. Yeah, I did answer that before. It was Tevin Coleman was my suggestion. Okay, so we answered Isaac K's question. iShine101 says, sup, Olave or Jacoby Myers this week? Tunyon or Pitts? Give me Pitts and give me Olave. Thank you. Will Havel says, who's a good player to trade Marquise Brown for with Hopkins coming back? If you're going to trade Marquise Hollywood Brown, I would more likely feel inclined. Let me go check here. If you can get Amon-Ra St. Brown, I would do it now. Even because he's on a bye week and because he's been injured for the last couple weeks, may force people to kind of sell him cheaper than he should be going for, per se. So I'd be pretty comfortable moving that for that. Otherwise, I'd also be comfortable going after Jamar Chase if you could somehow manage to get that onto your roster. I don't know if you'll be able to, but maybe you may be able to. You never know. Okay, so a couple things we need to do here. Yeah, obviously answer a couple more questions because you guys are spamming. I mean, I get it. It's the fantasy year. We're at week 6. I'm trying my very best. Here we go. So we had a question from Will Havel. We did that. Okay. Just Get It Done says pick 2 of these players to start. Eno Benjamin, Chris Olave, CeeDee Lamb, Mike Williams, full PPR. Olave and probably Mike Williams are my suggestions there. 2 years in a row, #1 in my league. Watching your video, appreciate it. Thank you very much. Silver Soul Jones says, is it true Akers is sick? I don't know. I have no clue. I mean, I know that they didn't designate him with an injury, so he could be sick, but I don't know. Morph says, 12-team PPR got offered Saquon, Michael Thomas, Ertz, Jameson. You got offered Saquon, Michael Thomas, Ertz, Jameson for Brees, Godwin, and Waller. Thoughts? So if you're going to get, okay, let me just compare these two, right? So if you're going to get Saquon, he's significantly better than Brees Hall rest of the season. Ertz is going to probably be of the same value as Waller. As for Godwin versus Jameson Williams and Michael Thomas, that is the biggest difference maker. I think the Saquon differential makes me feel like this is a decent trade in that regard, so I'm okay taking the Saquon side there. Yabshira sends in a question, says, I'm in an 8-team league. Should I trade Ramondre Stevenson, Lamb, and Goddard for Jonathan Taylor and Olave? I also was offered Marquise Hollywood Brown for Pierce. My starters are Kyler, Henry, Taylor, Evans, Brown, Kelsey, Devonta Smith. Okay, so here's my thing. At this current moment in time, I do not believe you need to make a trade. You have Henry, Taylor, Evans, Marquise Brown, Kelsey, Devonta Smith, Olave. Truth be told, Yabshira, I wouldn't move. I know it may be more appealing to potentially pivot. You don't need Goddard. You have Kelsey. You don't need Ramondre. You've got stud running backs. You don't need Lamb in that regard because you already have Evans. So at this point, I think I'm fine keeping what you have. As for the question of Marquise Hollywood Brown or Dameon Pierce, I'm okay with that. Yeah, I'm okay with that. That's fine by me. 444HSIR says, who should I start in the flex, MVS or Pollard? I would probably feel more comfortable playing MVS there. What you suspect, it says Eno Benjamin or Kareem Hunt. Eno Benjamin's my suggestion. Thank you. Someone said in the chat, do I start everyone in KC versus Buffalo? I mean, I think... So let's put it this way. I feel comfortable playing Diggs, Gabriel Davis, Isaiah McKenzie, Kelsey, Allen Mahomes, and then after that, Singletary maybe, CEH maybe, and then the rest are just off the table, not interested, right? MVS could be in that conversation. Just, again, it's a toss-up. Someone just asked Jimmy G versus Atlanta, Daniel Jones versus Baltimore, or Trevor Lawrence versus Indianapolis. Let me check my rankings as of what I had a couple days ago. I'm fairly certain I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence there. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is my suggestion in that regard. Thank you. Where are we at? Thank you, William. Thank you. Ayuk, Waddle, or ETN full PPR? In that regard, it's most likely leaning in the direction of Waddle or ETN. I think it's probably just a safer play to go with Waddle this week and hope for the best, even with the backup quarterback. DJ Moore or Waddle this week. At that point, I think I'm probably going Moore in a full PPR. Flex Myers, Walker, or Lazard. I think if it's a half PPR, I go Walker. If it's a full, I go Myers. Thank you. Is it even worth keeping Aaron Rodgers on the bench? Tom, it depends who you have as your starter, but I'd probably say probably not. Najee Harris or Myers, full PPR. Give me Myers there. I think I answered that, sports. Again, a lot of you guys aren't listening when I'm answering, but it's mainly because you ask a question and then 20 minutes later I answer it. So I do apologize for the lack of speed on some of these responses, but again, I am answering a lot of them. So just try to keep your ears peeled, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. What do we have here? Okay, a couple more questions sent in. Simply says, should I trade Najee Harris to get Melvin Gordon? You're 1-4 at the moment. I do not know if that's going to solve your issue right now. I guess for right now you could. If you do so, please go ahead and pick up Mike Boone off the waivers as well, because that would probably help. Hey, Andrew, is T. Higgins out? Should I play Pickens or McKenzie? I'm assuming that T. Higgins is most likely going to not play this week, and when he doesn't, I would play McKenzie. Gino is my starter. Is it worth keeping Aaron Rodgers? I would probably say it is worth keeping Aaron Rodgers at that point, unless there is someone on your waivers that is good enough to where you're like, hey, I don't even feel guilty about dropping Aaron Rodgers because this guy is going to make an immediate impact on my team rest of the season at running back, tight end, wide receiver. JK sends in a question, says full PPR, flex 1, ETN, CEH, or Henderson. Out of the three, I prefer Henderson. Dale Derrick says, I'm worried about the Colts offensive line. I am as well. Do you think they'll be forced to pass the ball in the games that they play? No, listen, I think at this moment, the Colts offensive line is really good at run blocking. In terms of pass blocking, they're terrible, which obviously hurts the value of Pierce and Pittman to an extent. What would you do with the wide receiver position? Also, Pickens or McKenzie? Yeah, I'd play McKenzie over Pickens this week in a full PPR. If you're looking to move Michael Pittman Jr., I wouldn't be mad at it. Carlton Collins says, I traded JT for AJB and ETN. Is this a bad trade? Only time will tell. I think it's a bad trade, personally. Rick says, full PPR, Calvin Ridley or Chris Carson. I'd rather have Calvin Ridley, honestly. Like, significantly. I wish Calvin Ridley was still playing football. I can't even believe that they suspended him for a full year. And some of these dudes get off with 11-game suspensions. Unbelievable. Mike Koch says, okay, so we have 2 leagues. We have question number 1. Start Zay Jones or London over James Robinson. Okay, so so you mentioned it's full PPR. If we're talking about full PPR, I'm probably leaning in the direction of playing. Dude, I don't know if I could trust London this week that much. I'd probably just play James Robinson there. And I'd probably just bench both those receiving options you have in your first question, Mike. As for the second question, Corey Davis or where did it go? Corey Davis, Cobb, or over James Robinson, full PPR. At that point, dude, I still don't know if I can trust any of those. Okay, at this point, Drake London, why can't you just be consistent? Why can't you just be a consistent wide receiver? I think I'm just playing James Robinson in both of your scenarios there, Mike. Honestly. Tatua says, pick 1, Pickens, Everett, Pickett, or Boyd, full PPR. Wait, you can play a wide. Wait, hold up. So this is a super flex league, I'm assuming, yes? So if there's a potential of playing Kenny Pickett, what can he probably give us? Like in a 4-point per passing touchdown league, I think in the last 2 weeks, he's put up like 11 or 12 points. He could have garbage time touchdown potential, but he could also throw 5 picks, which is my concern. So at this point, I'm probably feeling more comfortable just playing Zach Ertz there in your super flex there, Tatua. Thank you. Eber says, or Eber says, which running back would you start in week 6? Eno Benjamin or Walker? Right now, I'm leaning towards Eno. Or play both and sit Metcalf. No, I'd probably play Metcalf over Walker. Quarterback is Geno Smith, so I'm worried about stacking 3 Seattle players. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty much resolving that for you. Just play Eno over Walker, no problem. John says, trade Hopkins and Najee Harris for Montgomery. Trade Hopkins and Najee Harris for Montgomery? No, keep Hopkins and Najee Harris. I think they're probably better off for the rest of the season. My other wide receivers are this. Yeah, no, I'm still keeping what you have. Romeo T. Robot says, yo, PPR 12-team league 4-1. Do I need to make a trade of this? Okay, so this team is Burrow, Dak, Jones, Mixon, Stevenson, Montgomery, Sutton, Pittman, London, Kirk, Bateman, and Njoku, Ingram. Yeah, you probably need to make some moves. Who exactly? At this point, I'm not saying you make those moves right now. I'm thinking you wait until Pittman, London, and yeah, Pittman and London have monster games, and then we're moving them. Same thing with Montgomery. And then maybe even move Stevenson after this week. Jalen or Jayan says, currently have the team of Herbert at quarterback, Evans at wide receiver. We have Christian Kirk as my second wide receiver, Kamara and Henderson, Everett in the tight end position, Eno in the flex. Any changes I should be making? My bench is Dobbins. We have Schultz. We have Garrett Wilson. We have Rashad White. Rest of it is on the IR. No, I think you're good to go there, Jayon. Manny R says, Marquise Hollywood Brown for Amon-Ra St. Brown, Lamb, or other players. Yes, I would do that. Bradley Harris says, Eno Benjamin or Melvin Gordon this week. I think I answered this before. I'm leaning towards Melvin Gordon there. Bad Sports says, PPR, Marvin Jones is out. Should I flex ETN or Hunt? I think I'm still probably leaning towards Hunt in that regard. I'd love ETN to get more utilization. I just don't know if it's a guarantee within the matchup. I wouldn't be surprised if James Robinson makes a little bit of a comeback this week. Just because, you know, that coaching staff is so kind of bought into James Robinson's potential. Okay, so we've caught up a little bit here. Again, there's still a lot of questions in the chat. I do appreciate all of those of you who sent in donations. Those are very generous of you guys to send in. Again, do not forget, tomorrow morning, I will be live streaming here on the channel. We will have updated rankings. It'll be on screen, and I will be also answering more questions tomorrow. For any other information that comes out tomorrow morning, we'll have updated rankings on screen. Top 36 running backs, wide receivers, top 16 quarterbacks, tight ends, top 12 kickers and defenses. Not on screen, but will be mentioned in multiple scenarios, so stay tuned within that episode tomorrow morning, the live stream. What I want to do for the next couple minutes here is travel to via PrizePicks. Again, if you guys haven't checked them out, there's another way to play daily fantasy football at your fingertips. It's via PrizePicks. So if you guys haven't checked them out, there's a link down in the description. You can sign up today using promo code Andrew. I need to go ahead and move a couple things around here real quick. Mainly because, let's see here. I'm going to do some things here. What if, here we go. What if I do this and then do this? Okay, boom. And then do this. Okay, here we go. Move myself on the other side of the screen. Boom. Okay, look at that. How about that? We're making moves here, huh? Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and turn the YouTube chat on still. Boom. Oh my God, I'm doing it. I'm doing it, Mr. Krabs. And then do this. Ha ha ha. Look at that. Damn, that was quick, huh? Look at that. Professional. Okay, so I am via here at PrizePicks. They have a lot of potential entries. Again, the entire purpose of this is to pick more or less on a given player's statistics. So, for example, if I was to click on Kirk Cousins, we're talking about more or less 260.5 passing yards. Okay, so obviously you pick. But at this point, I just want to go ahead and filter through some of these in regards to interceptions. Okay, considering we know for sure, without a doubt in our mind this week, there's no Jonathan Taylor and there's no Nyheim Hines. Give me Matt Ryan throwing one interception this week. Again, like I mentioned, the man cannot stop throwing picks. And last time he played against Jacksonville, he threw 3 of them. I think this is a good play. And this is one that I want to kind of start off with here. Okay. Let's go ahead. I'm actually curious, dude, where's field goals made? Okay, let's see here. I think Nick Folk could very easily make 2. In fact, I think I might even take that right now. Is any of these like lower than 2? Let's see. Everything's relatively similar. I think Tyler Bass is also can be in this conversation, but mainly because it's a high, I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe not. Matt Gay, what have you been doing as of late? You've been kind of inconsistent. If anybody's going to do it, I legitimately actually do think that it is Nick Folk. I know he's been relatively quiet this year, but last week he was absolutely ridiculous. He made 5 field goals last week against the Detroit Lions. How about that crazy number, huh? How about that crazy number? I don't know. This one's, it's a kind of a 50-50 because, again, field goals made is tough to predict, but I'm going to put this on the list for right now. Let's see here. What about touchdowns in general? Okay, what are we talking about here? Passing touchdowns. Am I convinced with any of these guys? No. I mean, I might even be convinced with Matt Ryan putting up less than 1.5 touchdowns, just putting up 1, in terms of the passing game. Rushing touchdowns, Leonard Fournette, is he capable? I think both these guys are certainly capable. I just don't, dude, rushing touchdowns are tough to predict. They're really difficult. Mark Andrews, a receiving touchdown, I mean, that feels like an automatic. Am I wrong? Same thing with Cooper Kupp. I feel like him receiving touchdowns could be a thing here. He scored a rushing touchdown in one of those 4 games, so he scored a touchdown in 4 out of the last 5, but not a bad number. Mark Andrews, though, what have we been doing, man? Goodness, man. The inconsistency. Yeah, touchdowns is probably something that we don't even want to touch in that regard because it's just so risky. The ones that I was kind of going over yesterday that I found to be like the most intriguing plays was specifically Ramondre Stevenson in a full PPR going over 16 fantasy points. This one, I think the more is definitely something that I'm interested in. I'm going to make a $10 entry. What else do I really like this week? I really like the potential of, where is he? Goodness gracious, where art thou? Where is my favorite Zach Ertz? Where does Zach Ertz go? Actually, though, where the heck did Zach Ertz go? Zach Ertz was on here somewhere. But where's the Cardinals game? I got to find it now. Here he is. 11 fantasy points. I like this. This one's a good number to roll with potentially this week. What has Marquise Hollywood-Brown been doing? As of the last 3 weeks, dude, look at this. Full PPR fantasy points. This is why when people are asking me, should I be trading Marquise Hollywood-Brown away? I'm not feeling so compelled to do so because the implied fantasy points production that he could have rest of the season is relatively strong there. You know what I'm actually curious about? Because typically these, let me see here, ETN. Nope, that's not how you spell ETN. ETN 10 fantasy points, okay? You know what's interesting? In a full PPR, they're considering ETN a better play than James Robinson already because his total fantasy is at 8.5. Again, these kind of sites, they know their stuff. They know what's coming because they got some big brains over there trying to protect the house, right? So I think they're probably right in the idea that ETN in a full PPR is probably a better play in that regard. Okay, what's another play that I liked? Okay, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take the risk. I'm going to go more here. I'm going to put together a nice little entry, and then we'll close out today's vid. What I need to do is I need to probably kind of do this. Wait, okay, yeah. We need to go here, place the entry, and then go back to the big board, and then leave it as such. So again, if you guys are interested, you can go ahead, put together some entries. Again, there's a lot of plays that I've talked about throughout the episodes in the week. There's a lot of players to potentially go after and, gain some value on this upcoming weekend. So use promo code Andrew today. Thank you very much. Let's go ahead. Let's travel back to the regular screen by doing this, this, and this. Haha, I'm here. YouTube chat back on the screen. Perfect. Alrighty. So let's go ahead. Let's do this. And we're back to answering questions. For those of you who sent in donations right now, I'm going to get back to them right now. You Can't Hang sent in a question, says, I need Jacoby Myers, Romeo Doubs, or George Pickens. Give me Jacoby Myers and George Pickens this week. Steven Drakes, thank you very much. Nice to see you. Says, thank you for constantly winning championships, Andrew. Would you stash Wan'Dale Robinson? Also, would you start Tunyon this week? I probably wouldn't start Tunyon, but I don't know what your other options are, Steven. As for Wan'Dale Robinson, sure, I'm willing to stash him, but again, it's a pipe dream because he cannot stay healthy as of right now. Pearl says, which player will score points first? Odell, Van Jefferson, or Cordero Patterson? That's a really good question. Cordero Patterson comes off the injured reserve in probably 2 weeks. So I'm probably thinking he does before the other two. Let's see here. Andrew, thank you very much, Ray. Appreciate it. Boyd, Dobbs, Duvernay, and Jackson, pick 2. If I'm picking 2 out of this bunch, I'm probably going Duvernay and Deion Jackson there. Sports. Okay, Efren. Okay, let's just make this a point. Why are we spelling my name wrong? The E's not even close to O. How is this possible, guys? Efren, come on, my man. You gotta spell it right. It's on the damn screen. Anyway, you were asking Kenneth Walker or Jeff Wilson this week. I'm gonna go with Jeff Wilson. Thank you. Juju or George Pickens? Bradley, I'd go with George Pickens. Emerald Eyes says Zeke or Kenneth Walker. I go Kenneth Walker this week, Emerald. What do we do with Cam Akers? Hold him on the bench and just pray. Hey, Andrew, you told me to start Garrett Wilson over Dobbs in the flex. Does that change with Watson being out? No. The implication that I already had in my, or the kind of preconceived notion I had in my mind was that Watson was not going to be a big factor anyway. So I'm still feeling comfortable with Wilson. The reason why I am comfortable with Wilson in that regard, okay, so here's the thing. I could go either way with the two. I'm just worried about Sauce Gardner locking up. And there's Jair Alexander on the other side, but I think he'll probably go on to Corey Davis. Here's what I heard earlier this week, okay? Was scrolling on Twitter, and I don't know if you guys are following Warren Sharp. Warren Sharp does really good work over there, okay? He posted a video where he was talking about how the Green Bay Packers this year are the worst team against play action plays. They give up the most yards in the passing game versus play action. And unluckily for them, this upcoming week, the Jets, they technically have the highest percentage of play action plays over the last couple of weeks with Zach Wilson there. So if everything goes right, there should be a lot of passing work to be had within that regard. So potential's there. Sebastian Etienne or Dobbs, potentially I would probably go Etienne there. Yeah, I'd probably go ETN there. Hey, Andrew, should I start Najee Harris or Dave? I would probably go Darrell Henderson this week. Njoku or J-Rob, full PPR? Probably Njoku. Raphael says 14-team full PPR, pick 2. Melvin Gordon, Tyler Boyd, DJ Dallas, Ayuk. Love the content. Appreciate that. I would most likely just go with Melvin Gordon and Tyler Boyd this week. I think the other two options are relatively risky right now. Akers is going to retire. That would be crazy, huh? That would, I mean, hopefully not. Hopefully not. I mean, that would be, oof. Sorry, Andrew. No, it's okay. Listen, dude, it made me laugh. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. I'm desperate. Do I chance Latavius Murray or Allen Robinson? If I'm picking one, I chance Latavius Murray. I think Allen Robinson, I've lost all hope in. I have Waller, Schultz, along with Dak and Lamar, full PPR. Should I trade Dak and Waller? Yes, I would. No, wait, hold on, wait. Should I trade Dak and Waller? No, you can't trade. No. Trade Schultz and Dak. You can trust Waller because he'll be healthy. Schultz, I can't even trust anymore because I know his injury is not going to heal. He's going to have to take an IR stint if he's going to want to be healthy rest of the season. Raheem Mostert, Alec Pierce, Raheem Mostert. Garrett Wilson or Isaiah McKenzie? Isaiah McKenzie. Let's see here. Alec Pierce or Raheem Mostert. Yeah, we did that one. Taysom Hill or Everett? Taysom Hill. Ayuk, Cobb or Elijah Moore? Cobb. Pollard or Deion Jackson? I'll take Deion Jackson. Stay blessed. Thank you very much, Eugene. You do the same. T. Higgins going to play this week? Probably not, Cameron. How about them Phillies? I don't watch baseball. Don't care. Didn't ask. No, I'm just kidding. If the Dodgers are in it, and I know the Dodgers are playing well, that's fine. But outside of the World Series, I'm not paying attention to any baseball, guys. That's just, it's out of my scope. It's either basketball or football for Angie. That's about it. And speaking of basketball, okay, while we're on the topic, just want to remind y'all, okay, while we're on said topic, like I mentioned, okay, if you go over to PrizePicks and you go over to the NBA, okay, Look at this sucker right here. You could theoretically, okay, you just pick the more on this. That's an automatic. He's obviously going to score more than 1 point in the first game of the season. So they already got picks ready to go for the NBA season. So for those of you who are interested, you can check that out. Via PrizePicks, use promo code Andrew. When you make a first-time deposit, you'll be given a first-time deposit match up to $100. So check that out. Thank you very much. Back to the screen. Let's see here. Did anybody else send in a donation? Just Sherman 4 says, what do you think about Kieran Williams? He's a rookie running back, right? As of right now, he's been on the injured reserve. I think he's still on the injured reserve. If you have an open injured reserve spot, I would feel comfortable picking him up and throwing him there. Just because he's a Rams running back, and maybe, just maybe, he could have potential for future weeks to have value. I just don't know if it's 100% guarantee that he even comes off the injured reserve coming up. What team do you like in the NBA? I'm a Lakers fan. I'm an LA, born and raised kid over here. So the Lakers are my team. Now, you guys can clown on us all we want, but hey, who has more championships, right? Let's see here. Mike Boone or Philip Lindsay? And George Pickens or Alec Pierce? Okay, Mike Boone or Philip Lindsay? I'd rather have Mike Boone. As for George Pickens and Alec Pierce, I think I was leaning towards the direction of Alec Pierce this week. Have you seen the 7-3 kid? LeBron says he's an alien. Are we talking about the kid from, what is he, France? Is it France? I think, I forget how to even pronounce his name. But yes, I've seen him. Looks like he's going to be a monster in the NBA. We'll see. McKenzie or Alec Pierce? McKenzie. Slayton or Wandell? Do not want to start Wandell. I'd rather play Slayton. What's your Akers take? What happens if traded where? Do you guys think he's going to get traded? No. I don't think there's a single team in the NFL that wants the services of Cam Akers. They know what an Achilles injury does to a running back. They're all aware of this. So I don't think there's a possibility where he's getting traded. If anything, they're putting him on the injured reserve to go and rehab that ankle a little bit more, or the Achilles a little bit more, or they're in a position where, they're just shutting him down for the year. I don't know. Like, I don't know what the deal is right now. So all of it is just speculation, and I don't really want to speculate on stuff that's most likely not going to happen. Warriors are re-signing everyone. LOL. Yeah, no, they are. I saw it earlier today. Jordan Poole got a $140 million deal for 4 years. Dude, people in the NBA get paid a lot. Yes, Wembanyama. Yeah, hold on, wait. How did I pronounce that? Wembanyama. Give me a couple weeks and I'll be able to pronounce it. But otherwise, I'll stick to my Albert Okwuegbunams, and those are a lot more easier to pronounce in that regard. Joe Mixon or Breece Hall, half PPR this week. I played Breece Hall at Boone or Jackson. Thielen or Pickens? I'm probably going Pickens this week. You know what I love about Adam Thielen? I love the fact that Adam Thielen scores touchdowns. The only thing that I want to kind of mention with Adam Thielen, why didn't that type in? That was actually weird. The thing that I want to show you guys with Adam Thielen is this, okay? Let me see if it actually pops up on screen. One moment. Let's see if this pops up. Okay, do you guys see this? These are the game logs for Adam Thielen, okay? So if we go back to, let's see here. Okay, those are the dates. So if we go back to, let's see here. This is this year, okay? So he scored a touchdown here. And then most recently, in healthy games, okay? So these two games are not healthy games. But touchdown, no touchdown. Touchdown, no touchdown. Okay, so he went 2 weeks, then scored a touchdown. We keep going down. He went 2 weeks, then scored a touchdown. Okay, these are all injury games. Dude, the guy has been a touchdown machine. So eventually, right, he will score one. Whether it's this week remains to be seen. I'm just not, I can't risk it. It's too much risk. I'd rather just play guys that are going to catch the ball more often. Do you know what I mean? Just too much risk. The Doe says, LA, that's extremely rude. Poole deserved every dollar. Of course he did. It's a massive deal. I'm just saying they get paid a lot of money. Like, in comparison to NFL quarterbacks, $140 million for 4 years. What's the math on that, guys? We're talking over 30 million a year. That's a lot of money. That's literally like 35 a year. I mean, in the NFL, you got to be a franchise guy. In the NBA, you just got to be coming off the bench, and you're making that kind of money. You know what I mean? That's the point I'm trying to make. Lamb or Henderson? I mean, you know what? To be honest, I'm probably going Henderson there. Wiggins just got extended as well. Yeah, Wiggins played extremely well in those finals. I mean, dude is he's when given opportunity on a good team, he plays well. That's all I gotta say. Rondell Moore or Deion Jackson? Give me Deion Jackson. Ayuk or Gallup? At this point, probably Gallup, but I don't really feel comfortable with either. Who would you trade a package of Jonathan Taylor and Kittle for? If I'm going to trade away Jonathan Taylor, I better be getting back a top 5 running back. So what exactly does that mean? I better be getting back Eckler, Barkley, Henry, Chubb, McCaffrey. If I don't get one of those guys back, I don't want it. Let's see here. Close this off. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Okay, so hopefully the stream doesn't break because I just closed that link. Okay, we're good. So, a couple more donations that were sent. Oh, damn. Did my YouTube thing just break? It may have. Actually, no, it's still live. Okay, we're still live. Okay, a couple more donations were sent in. Anthony Ramos will get there. Duty will get there. All right. Scrolling down, Mike says Gabe Davis or Olave. I'm leaning towards Gabe Davis this week. Olave is still a really good play, though. Mariota, Jones, or Ryan or Lawrence this week, 12 teams. I'd probably go Lawrence, then Mariota, then Joe. Wait, where's my rankings? Hold up, pause, champ. Rankings, I have Lawrence, then Daniel Jones, then Mariota, then Matt Ryan. So, yeah, it's Lawrence this week. Thank you. Sweezy says, got offered to trade Dawson Knox and Joshua Kelly for Mostert. I would like to have the Mostert side of this deal. Mind you, I have Eckler and the tight end at the moment is Conklin. Look, here's my thought process, okay? If Eckler was to go down with an injury, God forbid, I do not believe that Joshua Kelly would get every single rushing attempt henceforth. I think it would be a running back by committee in which they would use a lot of Sony Michel. So with that being mentioned, I still would rather have most of the rest of the season. Play Disley this week. Duke says, Travis Etienne or Deion Jackson. I go Deion Jackson. Also, Christian Kirk or McKenzie. Give me Christian Kirk this week. Thank you. Dak and Schultz trade for Chris Olave full PPR. I have Lamar. I'll take that. 1,000%, JJ, right? 1,000%. Jacoby Myers, Deontay, or Gabe Davis. Give me Gabe Davis this week. Henderson or Lamb. I think we mentioned that with Henderson this week. Yep, 35. That's crazy numbers, man. Crazy numbers. I mean, I'm happy for him, but that's a lot of money, man. That's a lot of... What would you do with $35 million a year? Can you imagine that kind of money, guys? I mean, maybe someone in here is an oil prince and they have $35 million just sitting in the bank. But holy moly, dude, what do you do with that money? I mean, you use your money to make more money. You invest in, real estate, all this kind of jazz, and you start making money like that. But goodness gracious, like, you can only do so much. I'm a minimalist. I don't need everything. But, 35 mil? That's crazy numbers. Pitts or Ingram this week? I'm probably leaning towards Pitts. Pitts or Hurst? Give me Hurst. Alec Pierce or Eno? Probably Eno. Najee or DJ Dallas? Give me Najee. Eno Benjamin or Darrell Henderson rest of season? Darrell Henderson. NBA should move to China. Why? Why would they do that? Full PPR, Gabe Davis or Amari Cooper. Give me Gabe Davis. NBA players are paid. Yeah, they get a lot of money. Evan Ingram or Njoku. Give me Njoku. Pickens or Boyd. Boyd. Pitt. Okay, we did that. Olave or Eno Benjamin in the flex. Half PPR. Olave or Eno. Damn. I want to play Olave there. Gabe Davis or Amari Cooper? Gabe Davis. Algier or Boone? Markel Adams, what did you say? Said someone dropped Bateman in my league. Should I drop Ayuk? Yes. Should I move Debo for Hollywood? I'm okay with that, Gabos. I'm talking about the state of California as a whole. I love the Lakers, TBH. Oh, okay, that's what you're talking about. Hey, listen, I got no problem here. It's perfectly comfortable. the weather's always 70 and shiny, and the food is fantastic. So I got no complaints over here. Obviously, it's super expensive to live here, but that's a different conversation. Olave or DK Metcalf. Like if you want like a 2-bedroom apartment, guess what? You're paying $3,000 a month, probably minimum. If you want want to rent a 4-bedroom house, guess what? You're paying $5,000 a month. Like it's expensive here, dude. It's literally, you're gonna go broke. Olave or DK Metcalf this week? I think I'm leaning towards Olave as we progressively get towards the beginning of week 6. Greetings and salutations. Devontae Parker or Jalen Warren or Jerick McKinnon, pick 2. If Max Jones is the starting quarterback this week, I would play Devontae Parker, and I would probably play Jerick McKinnon this week. AJ Brown or Pickens? AJ Brown. Duvernay or Pittman? Probably Pittman. Pitts or Ingram? We're going to go Pitts this week. Algier or Boone? We picked Boone earlier. Crypto will get you 35 million. I don't even know what crypto is, dude. Like, what is that? Like, what are we talking about? Electronic money. What is this? What's the possibility of Christian McCaffrey getting traded? Probably unlikely, unless someone's willing to give them a 2nd-round pick and some extra compensation, or I don't know what they want. If they want a 1st-round pick, they can definitely probably F off, because no one's given a 1st-round pick for a running back right now. But yeah, Dobbs or Thielen? Thielen would probably be my suggestion there. What are your tight end rankings for this week? I have Hill starting and Schultz on my bench, Ingram and Tunyon on waivers. Yeah, I have Hill over both Tunyon and Ingram this week. We'll have up-to-date rankings on screen tomorrow morning for those of you who are interested. Etienne or McKenzie? Give me McKenzie. Pickens or AJ Brown? Give me AJ Brown. Thinking of trading Mixon for Swift? Yes, I would do that. I'd love that. Let's see here. Olave or Brown? I think if I probably play either Brown, whether it is Hollywood or AJ. Yo, Andrew didn't respond to my question. Jacob, what's your question, my man? Let me see. Jacob says, didn't respond to my question. Oh, okay. Yeah, I just got to it right now. Thank you. Did we answer these other ones? Duke, Travis Etienne. Yeah, we did this one. Okay, skip this one. My bad. Andrew, who do you take this trade in a keeper league? Okay, let's see here. Would we take this trade? Najee Harris and Goddard for Dameon Pearson and Njoku. So in a keeper league, okay, I'd rather have Najee Harris and Goddard, because I'd rather keep them for next season. That's my suggestion as of right now. Obviously, it doesn't help you this year, but I think rest of the future of your keeper league, Najee Harris is the guy I'd rather have. Start Mostert or Wilson Jr. Give me Wilson Jr. Walker or Dobbins? Probably Walker. Waddle or Devonta? I'll play Devonta Smith this week. CEH or J.K. Dobbins this week? Probably CEH. Please help. Elijah Moore or Wan'Dale Robinson? Neither probably is my suggestion there, Greg. Do you have anybody else that is on your waivers that you could just kind of rattle off so I can just check them out and see if there's anything else you could pivot to? Thinking of offering Mixon for Breece. I'm okay with that, Jesse. That's fine by me. I mean, I don't like it too much because I know Mixon will get back on track, but I don't mind it. Okay, I don't want to hear any okay, look, this is the kind of stuff that I'll just murk. I don't want to hear any of it at all. All right? That's the final warning I'll give. I don't want to hear any of it. Don't bring bullshit into this chat. I don't want to see it. Would you trade Melvin Gordon for Kenneth Walker? I would be willing. So yeah, I'm okay with that. Pitts or Ingram? Like I mentioned, I'm still leaning with Pitts. I know it's tough to trust them, but that's where I'm going. Waddle or James Robinson this week? I probably feel comfortable going, oh man, probably James Robinson in a half. Full PPR, probably regular Waddle. Etienne or Zeke, excuse me. Rest of the way. That one's hard to predict. I'd honestly just plead the fifth on that one. I don't know which way it's going to go. Henderson or CEH? I'd probably go Henderson. Jags defense or Patriots defense this week? I think both are probably good plays. I think the Patriots have the better. Matt Ryan's gonna probably fumble twice, throw 3 picks. I think that they're both probably good plays. Most likely leaning in the direction of playing the Patriots just because I trust their defense more to get the job done. But I don't mind the Jags, but for right now, if it's my team, I'm probably just rolling with the Patriots. I think they could probably force Jacoby Brissett to hey, we're going to stop the run, and we're going to force Jacoby Brissett to beat us. And if he can, he can. If he doesn't, he'll throw picks, Best option is Joshua Palmer in a 14-team league. That's why it's brutal. Yeah, Greg, that's really tough. At that point, Greg, I'd probably play Elijah Moore. Cowboys or Ravens defense. I have to drop the I would have to drop the Cowboys. At this point, I'd probably just play the Cowboys defense because I don't want to drop them because I think they're really good rest of season value. Sutton or Olave or Kenneth Walker. I'm probably playing Sutton there out of the group. Do you think Williams can still hold high value once Allen comes back? Yes, I still believe he will hold value. Darrell Henderson or Gabe Davis in the flex this week? Oh, man, that one's tough. I think it's probably safer to go Darrell Henderson there. Jacoby Myers, questionable. DJ Moore. If Jacoby Myers suits up, I'd rather have him. Alec Pierce or Gallup. Alec Pierce, Waddle or Marquise Brown. Marquise Brown. Njoku or Taysom. If it's a full PPR, give me Njoku. If it's any other scoring format, give me Taysom. Juju or DJ Dallas, give me Juju. Deion Jackson over Kenneth Walker this week. Myers or Cortland Sutton, give me Sutton. Latavius Murray and Mooney for London. Thoughts? I'm okay taking London rest of the season in that regard. Disley or Schultz this week. Disley. Benjamin or Waddle, give me Eno. Trade Sutton and Mixon for Debo and MT. No, give me, just make sure you keep Mixon and Sutton. Gosh, what does it say? My gosh, I'm starting Dallas defense for the rest of, what is this? What? Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's what I would suggest. Play Dallas. They're good defense. Geno Smith or Kyler? I have Kyler just slightly ahead of him. What? No. I actually prefer if nobody knows who I am. This comment, I prefer if nobody knew who I was. Yeah, let's keep it that way, please. Overcome says Pats defense or Eagles. Pats defense or Eagles? Pats this week. Zadarian or Zadrian, excuse me. Rondell Moore, Eno's the play for sure. CeeDee Lamb or Jacoby Myers? CeeDee Lamb. Duke says thanks, no problem. Darrell Henderson, Eno Benjamin, Raheem Mostert. If I'm playing one this week, it's probably Darrell Henderson. And then Eno Benjamin, then Mostert, in that order. Godwin, Mostert, Waddle, pick 2. I'm playing Godwin, Mostert. Deion Jackson or James Robinson? Deion Jackson. Half PPR, which 3 do I start? Out of the 3 potential options, I'm probably going Sutton, Williams, and Davis. Saints defense or Pats? Pats. Again, I don't like the Saints defense this year. They don't play well. I just don't know what it is. Henderson over James Robinson for Shursky. Deion Jackson over Juju. Yes, I'll do that. Hendo or Eno? Give me Hendo. Duvernay or DJ Moore? Give me Duvernay. Broncos or Bengals? Probably play the Bengals. MVS or McKenzie? I play McKenzie. Superflex spot. Dak is not available. Jacoby Brissett or Matt Ryan? Jacoby Brissett is my suggestion there. Matt Ryan is a turnover machine. Jacoby Myers or Olave? Olave. Okay. That is pretty much going to cover it. Of course, there's a couple more donations I got to catch up to real quick. So let's do that. Who did I miss? Zadrian, we got Overcome. We took care of Duke. We took care of Markel Adams. We took care of Jack Darjean. I didn't see your question. Maybe I did respond to it, though. I do want to play Deion Jackson instead. Jacob Cohen, we did answer that one. We go on to Steven Watson, who says, stick with the Bills defense versus the Chiefs. I don't really like that as an option this week, to be honest. Aaron Jones, what does it say? Aaron Jones still have good upside of Matt LaFleur stops being a... Yeah, I do agree. This is a absolute sound statement. And there's a reason why Aaron Jones throughout the press conferences, or not press conferences, but the interviews that he's had in the last week, during practice, after the games, he is complaining about the touches he is getting because it's a fact. He needs to get more touches. Juan, I would play Henderson this week. Kirk or Thielen? Kirk. Deion Jackson or Travis Etienne. I'm probably still leaning towards Deion Jackson. Myers or Lazard. Myers. McKenzie, Dobbs, Ayuk, Duvernay. McKenzie and then Duvernay. That's the order. Those two are the guys that I'd want to play. Rodgers or Cousins. Rodgers is probably on the bench. Play Cousins. Dobbs or Juju. Probably Dobbs. Henderson or CEH. Henderson. Michael Thomas or Kareem. And Kareem for Tyler Lockett. If you don't need the running back depth and you're okay giving away Kareem Hunt, I'm okay with that. Pats defense or Bengals? Pats. How are my receivers? Chase, Waddle, Godwin, Lazard, Gallup, Dobbs. I think your wide receivers right now are a little bit sketchy, but I think going forward they will be better off. Alexander says, wife me, Omega lol. That's funny, Alexander. Alec Pierce, Ayuk, or Pollard in a flex standard league? Ayuk, Pierce, or Pollard? Standard league? Yo. I'd probably go Alec Pierce there. That's tough, though. Sorry if answered. Pickens, Bateman, or Myers rest of season? If I'm picking one rest of season under the assumption that Bateman is healthy and Myers is healthy, in a full PPR, Myers would probably get Myers in a full PPR would be more valuable in a full PPR. Bateman will be more valuable in a half PPR, in my opinion, rest of the season, assuming he's healthy. And then, assuming both these guys don't stay healthy, it's Pickens because, again, availability is the best ability in fantasy, right? Which is probably false, but you know what I mean. Zay Jones or Deion Jackson this week? I'm probably going Jackson. Guys, again, I'm playing Jackson in a lot of capacities. Accidentally skipped my question. Sean, let me see what you got, my man. Sean Bonds. Sean says, yeah, I did accidentally skip this. My bad. Was offered St. Brown and Aaron Jones, Kenneth Walker for T. Higgins and Barkley. What are your thoughts? You were offered St. Brown, Aaron Jones, and Kenneth Walker for T. Higgins and Barkley. Wow. My brain is going to start hurting now. Okay, hold up. Let's think about this. Do we want to give up Barkley for that? Sean, what does the rest of your team look like? If you could type out your team in the comments or just in the chat, that'd be great. Would you go buy a Taco Bell? What? I would go buy a Taco Bell. Oh, Lon, you're referring to having 35 in the bank. I know what you're talking. Okay, now it makes sense. Manuel says, Andrew, the Kratos of fantasy football. Here's the thing about Kratos, right? Doesn't he kill Ares and becomes the god of war? Like, am I the god of fantasy? Is that what we're telling me? Or am I the god of war in fantasy? Because if that's the case, that might not be great. How do you feel about placing 200 on McKenzie anytime touchdown at plus 225 odds? Bruh, that's a lot of money, man. I don't know if I want to be suggesting you to make those. How about we do this? How about we take it easy, okay? Let's take it easy. Let's go to PrizePicks. Let's put in an entry for him to, make some yardage instead of go for that touchdown, because that touchdown's ever elusive. I know he scored a handful of them already this year, but that's a tough play right there. Okay. A couple more that were sent in. I'm waiting for Mr. Sean to let me know what the rest of his team look like, and then we'll be good to go. What else we at here? Oh, you know what I've been doing? I neglected this. Okay, that's what happened. Okay, my bad. Here we go. We're back here. Okay. Adam says, bad trade, full PPR. I traded Justin Jefferson for Dalvin Cook and AJ Brown. My best running back is Melvin Gordon and Cam Akers. In a full PPR scoring format, this is going to hurt. Is it probably in your best interest to have made the trade? Probably, because it does help your team in the long run to fill in those spots because you don't have any running backs. So I'm okay with the trade. Let's just hope that Dalvin Cook stays consistent, and let's hope that AJ Brown scores more touchdowns, right? Sanders or Walker? Give me Walker. Henderson or CEH? Henderson. There was another, Andy, thank you very much. Says Sutton, Njoku, Pickens for Higgins, Ertz, and Pierce. Sutton, Higgins. I prefer Sutton over Higgins rest season. I prefer Ertz over Njoku rest season. I prefer Pickens over Pierce rest season. So if I'm picking it, I'm probably keeping Sutton side of this deal. Yeah. That's probably where I would go with rest of the season. Okie dokie, artichokes. All right, so we've been here for about 2 hours. That's pretty much where I'm going to call it. I want to thank you guys for joining me over the course of the last 2 hours, trying to help you guys out as much as I possibly can. If you guys didn't get your question answered, of course, I got some, I still got energy left. Duvernay over Juju, that's what we'll take. Traded Amari Cooper for Christian Kirk. Thoughts? I'm okay with it. I'm not in love with it, but I'm okay with it. ETN, Rondell Moore, Zeke, McKenzie, pick 2. It's probably in a full PPR. I'd probably go towards Rondell Moore and McKenzie playing both wide receivers. In a half PPR, I'd probably go ETN, McKenzie, Godwin or Kenneth Walker. The third, I'd go with Godwin this week. Sanders or Henderson. Give me Henderson. Do you think Deion Jackson and Phillip Lindsay will who will get more work? It's probably going to be Deion Jackson because he's probably going to get the receiving work going in his direction. That's why I trust him as much as I currently do. And also, Phillip Lindsay was on the practice squad all week. Then he only got elevated. So they were under the expectation that Deion Jackson was going to be probably the guy playing this week. So they probably gave him the first team or second team reps at the running back position this week. So I'm sure he's more equipped to succeed this week in that regard. I sent the rest of my squad. Okay, Sean, where are we at here? Let me see where it is. Sean. Let's go here. Let's look up Sean. Where are we at, my man? London Duvernay, AJ Brown, Pierce, Breece Hall, J.K. Dobbins. So in regards to this, Sean. I mean, I'm looking at the rest of your team. Breece Hall and Pierce are really good, right? So those are the guys we want to trust every single week. And then you have A.J. Brown. So currently you have T. Higgins with A.J. Brown. You have Barkley, which is probably filling into that flex. So the question is, do we want to upgrade wide receiver significantly and then also get more running back depth in exchange for Barkley? Dude, that is a tough ask as of right now. Because if T. Higgins is healthy, I probably just keep what you have. But that's the thing. Is T. Higgins healthy? At this point, I'm willing to give it another week and just keep what you have because, man, it's hard for me to trade away Barkley at this juncture. So I'd probably just I'd keep the guys you have on roster. ETN or Pollard. George, play ETN. Stevenson or Lockett. I'm probably leaning towards Stevenson being a safer play. Hall or Walker for Saquon. Hall and Walker for Saquon. ETN, Hall and Walker for Saquon. Yo, what does the rest of your team look like? Guys, I hate giving away running back depth. I purely do. That's why I do not make that many trades in my leagues, because if I have to give away 2 running backs for 1, that guy better be an absolute unstoppable machine rest of the season. Now, luckily in your case, it's Saquon, right? So there's a good option there, and you probably take the Saquon there because you know you're good to go. But if you don't have anybody else, your next best running back is J.K. Dobbins. We're in trouble, right? So that's the only concern there. Okay, guys, I do appreciate it. Tomorrow morning, we'll be back here on the channel answering questions. Again, if you guys haven't yet already, before the stream ends, if you could do me a favor, click that like button. Definitely help us get over that 300 mark. That'd be greatly appreciated. Usually, I don't ask for likes that often because I know, I'm just trying to get through everything else. I probably should put some more plastered on the screen, slam the like button. We'll do that more often in the future. Either way, appreciate it. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we'll be live streaming here on the channel. If you guys want to support the channel even more, get more questions answered in that regard, Patreon's the way to do it. There's a link in the description. For those of you who are trying to play more daily fantasy football, of course, check out PrizePicks. Sign up today using promo code Andrew. There's a link down in the description for those of you who are trying to go ahead and play. Of course, we went over a couple picks for this upcoming weekend. We really do like the idea of Ramondre Stevenson, Zach Ertz going more on their numbers. If you guys want to hear more of the potential entries that I made for this weekend, check out yesterday's video, the must-start video. At the back half of the video, we went over a couple potential picks that you can go ahead and make via PrizePicks. So check that out. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll cue out with the music. And until tomorrow, I will see you guys. Peace. Where are we at here? Here we are. Boom. I just saw a comment in the chat. It said Hopkins and Walker for Diggs. Yeah, give me Diggs there. Someone said Will Smith slap the like button. Emerald, that's a good one. Okay, thank you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early. Appreciate it. Good night.